Okay, so yesterday we talked about like a few processes like creating a voucher, creating the liability entries, okay, and now we posted the move the subsystem entries to the GL. Okay, now I just come to the other part is the payables. Okay, we'll see the whatever the voucher is created yesterday and that will be get paid today. Okay, so whenever normally process completes, then we need to first of all set a pay cycle. Okay, that is called payment processing. Okay, where you have to go to the payment solution criteria. Okay, when you are doing at first time, when you are implementing BU in the system organization, okay, you to include the pay cycle, you need to set up the pay cycle process. Okay, this is a one-time setup, and you can create an n number of pay cycles as per the company's requirement. You can create n number of pay cycles. Okay.
So you create a pay cycle for every what?
It's all different. I'll give you an example. Okay, now I've created a new business unit. Okay, that is business unit called ES001. Okay, when you are creating a new business unit, okay, there are certain things. Okay, if the any pay cycle is already existing, okay, and you feel that both the entities will use the same kind of the bank layouts and everything. Don't worry about what the bank layouts. I will explain you. Okay, there are certain conditions are should match to include both the entity pay cycles into the one same pay cycle. Okay, otherwise what we will do, each and every business unit we will create a separate pay cycle. Okay, let me take one more example. All my vendor related payments will be processed from the one pay cycle. Okay, all employee related expenses reimbursements I want to process from a different business unit and a different pay cycle, and all my global settlements are into a different pay cycle. Okay, and second thing we have, like, okay, we can either we can club all three pay cycles, like for example vendor payments, okay, employee related payments, and also like inter-entity settlements or global settlements. Everything I want to make from the one pay cycle. Okay, so that can be done. Okay, depends upon the requirement. So based on the requirement, we can also configure. We can club the multiple payment, different payment methods into the one pay cycle. Okay, so we will just start with like a normal process that how to create the pay cycle. Then I will give more examples so that you will be able to understand it. Okay.
Okay.
So create any okay, whenever you do any implementation or whenever you do any rollout, when you're creating a new entity, okay, so depends upon the requirement, you will create a fresh pay cycle exclusively for use for the particular entity. Okay, so for that, this is how like the again consultant will do this. Okay, so first of all, I need to add in a new pay cycle. So I will put my pay cycle name called US VNDR. I put my pay cycle put whatever the name you want. So I will put like my US. So okay, this is called pay cycle definition page. Pay cycle selection, payment selection criteria page. Okay. You are not able to hear anything, Jonathan?
Now I can. Before I couldn't.
Okay. Even actually I tried using the microphones, but even microphones, I think there's some problem with my computer where I try to put the microphones.
Yeah, it's a microphone and I can't. I think the connection is bad.
Whatever is that you guys are talking. Is it fine now, Jonathan?
No, the connection is bad. I can't.
Okay, we'll do one thing. We will just log out and we'll log in one more time. And we will see
Me?
whether
Me or you? Because I mean, my side is really fast. I don't know how your internet is.
we both will never hear properly like from your side.
Yeah, I
I
think.
tried once. Can we both log out and we'll log in one more time?
Okay.
Okay. Srinivas? You will update your vendor's banking information. Okay. There is a concept called pre-notification. What we will do when you create create a new vendor, okay, with the new banking details, there is an option called pre-notification. If I select a particular option, in this pay cycle, what will happen? There is a $1 payment will be generated, and it will send it to the bank for the verification.
Okay.
For example, you are my vendor and you have provided all your information first time. And when I input your banking details in my database first time, if I select the pre-notification, when I run this particular process, there is a $1 payment will generate to the bank and it will look for the payment. If there is any issue with your account, then the payment will be get rejected. And if it is processed and you receive this particular payment, that means the accounts, whatever you provided, it's fine, there is no issue. And going forward, the payments will automatically generated for your future payments.
Okay.
Okay. So that functionality is available in the Peoplesoft. Either if you want to use, you can use it. If not, then you can ignore it. Okay. And there is a called as a user supplier group. Okay. Right now, if I see here pay groups, if I see the pay groups, then nothing is available. It is grayed out. Okay, when I come to pay group, if I select this checkbox, if I go to the pay groups page, see now the pay group checkbox is enabled, and I can see these are the pay groups are available in the system. That is called rent vendors, utility vendors, employee vendors, supplier. See, the reason why this pay group is defined, it is furthermore filter. Okay. So if you want to filter by putting more conditions, the pay group is one of the area where we can put additional filter of your vendor payments. Okay. And some other options are well, you can just ignore it. Okay. If you want to include the bank processing charges, so you just include it so that system automatically calculates the bank charges and it will be like the system will generate the invoice. Okay.
Okay.
And now
for the automatic increment date again, what can you repeat what that is? It just automatically does the next week or the next month?
correct. Here the next week, whatever the next month you have selected, instead of you go come and you manually select this increment dates, system by default will increase these dates.
That's only if your supplier, I mean, maybe ships to you every week or every month, right?
Correct.
But if it's a one-time thing, then of course you don't check it.
Yes.
Okay.
So whenever you completed your pay cycle, and next time whenever you trying to like log in and run one more pay cycle, so that time system by default automatically increase the dates.
Okay.
Okay. Now the credit voucher options. There are 4 different methods are available. Okay. Process credit vouchers. Process the credit when the debit is exceeding the credit. Okay. Or process when the debits exceeds credits. Okay. I will tell you the difference. And do not process the credit vouchers. Okay. For example, we got 10 invoices from the one vendor. Okay. In general scenario, what will happen? You keep on getting the invoices and you will make the payments to the vendor. Sometimes in some situations you will get a credit note from the vendor. Correct?
Okay.
Okay. When you get a credit notes, then what you will do? You will record the credit notes in your system.
Okay.
When you're creating a credit note means crediting to the vendor. Normally, when in accounts payable, whenever you create any voucher, it will be debited. Now you are crediting means, when you are debiting means what will happen? That we have to make the payment to the vendor. Okay, when you are creating a credit note means the vendor has to pay something to you.
Okay.
Okay. So when you are running your pay cycle, okay, for example, the Dell vendor which we talked about earlier, now the Dell vendor has an open balance of credit balance of $20,000. Now you got one more voucher now for $7,000. Will you pay the amount? No.
No.
Because when the Dell vendor has to pay us $20,000.
Okay.
Now we got an invoice of 7,000. So what you will do? You will adjust your credit balance to the debit balance.
Okay.
Now still again the balance is $13,000 still receivable from the vendor. Okay. Now again I got one more $5,000 voucher. What will happen? Again you will go and see the balance in the vendor account. Again there is a minus 13,000 balance is there. Now you got the invoice of 5,000. Again it will adjust the 13,000 minus 5,000. Still again I can see the credit balance of 8,000.
Okay.
Next time again you got $15,000 invoice. Then when you what is ultimate? Now we have a credit balance of 8,000. Now we got a $15,000 invoice. So when you run the pay cycle pick all these vouchers and it will adjust all the credit notes and the debit notes. Now in this situation, now we have a credit balance of 8,000. Now we got 15,000 invoice. So when it comes to the net, we have to pay the $7,000 to the vendor. Okay. So when you are doing all these things, system will automatically adjust the credit balance and debit balance.
Okay.
Okay. How this will happen? Okay. If you put, okay, do not process the credit vouchers, then what will happen? Even though you have the credit balance of the vendor account has a credit balance of 20,000, but now you got the first time you got the $5,000 invoice. System will ignore the credit balances and it will directly make the payment. Even though he has to pay some $20,000 to us, still system will not adjust any credit balance. Whenever you got the invoice, it will make the payment.
Okay. Even if you have a balance.
Yes.
Okay. So you still have a balance of $30,000.
Yes. It will never adjust the credit balance to the debit balance.
Okay.
If I use the option called process credit vouchers, then what will happen? It will immediately adjust, and it will, any balances are there, then it will make the payment to the system, to the vendors. Okay. There is a third option, process when the debit less than or equal to credit. That means what will happen when you run the pay cycle, it will see whether the debit balance are equal, less than or equal to credit balance, then only include.
Okay.
Okay. And the fourth option is where the process when the debit exceeds the credit. That means in this the example which we discussed right now. Now the credit balance is like the debit balance is exceeding the credit balance. That means we have a 8,000 of credit balance, the third invoice. After you adjust the two invoices, now we have a 8,000 of credit invoice. Now we got a 15,000 the debit invoice from the vendor. Then the debit is exceeding the credit limit, correct?
Okay.
So then in this, when I put this condition, then what will happen? When the voucher exceeds the credit, then only those invoices will be then paid in the paycheck.
Okay. So the last two are pretty similar.
Yeah, it's pretty similar, but only thing is till the time it will never pick up.
Okay.
Normally, when you run the pay cycle, it will look for the vendor credit balance, vendor balance. If it is exceeding the credit balance, the debit balance exceeds the credit balance, then only it will pick in the pay cycles.
Okay.
This is very important or useful when you are doing a support project. Okay, people will combine.
Can you the process?
Sorry, Jonathan.
The process credit voucher, like how?
Yes.
Yeah, repeat that one a little bit.
No, you will get some cases in this support. When you are doing the support, you will understand, like you will use this functionality more. That because now they run the pay cycle and they don't know what the kind of criteria set up under the pay cycle, and the normal processing people, they try to create on voucher, then they'll see the due date is due like 1 month back, but still the voucher is not taking the pay cycle. Then they'll come back and they will raise an issue to the support team saying that, hey, Jonathan, I have created one invoice for $5,000, but whereas when I run the pay cycle, even if it is falling due, but still it is not picking. Then immediately we will go and see what is the balance of the customer, the balance of the vendor or supplier.
Okay.
Then we will check what condition we have configured under this particular pay cycle. Depends upon the pay cycle condition, you will give the solution to the end users.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
Okay. Before there is a limit called, okay, each and every pay cycle you can put a limit. Whenever I run the pay cycle, my total payables should not exceed this specific limit. For example, I can put $1 million. So whenever you run the pay cycle, if your pay cycle, the payments are going more than the $1 million, then the system will throw another message saying that in this pay cycle it is exceeding the maximum amount limit or minimum amount limit. These currencies are useful if you are using for multiple currencies. Then system will convert and it will populate the message.
Okay.
Okay, I will tell you about this. Before that, I will go to the next one.